Live, this is News 8 at 11.
2 Metro North trains collide during the evening rush. At least 60 people are hurt, 5 seriously. And the question tonight is, what went wrong? Hi, everybody. Glad you're with us tonight. I'm Darren Kramer.
I'm Sonia Baghdadi. We have team coverage of the derailment and crash on the Bridgeport-Fairfield line. News 8's Stephanie Simone live in Bridgeport near the site of that collision with the latest. Stephanie.
Sonia, Darren, what a scary commute for passengers. As authorities say, around 6 o'clock this evening, those 2 trains collided. Right now, the Mass Transit Authority, they're in charge of the investigation. They're waiting on the National Transportation Safety Board to get on scene, and then they will start to spearhead the long-term investigation as to exactly what caused these trains to collide. I want you to look behind me. This is what the scene has been like all night long. First responders, investigators, detectives, they're all here on scene trying to examine exactly what happened. The governor said earlier that preliminary reports show one train started to derail and then the other train collided with it. This is consistent with what witnesses were telling us earlier today. One by one, first responders took the injured off the train. Some in stretchers, others were carried. Passengers aided other passengers.
She was kind of in and out of consciousness. She kept asking the same question over and over again, like, what happened, where are we? I just kept telling her, you know, we were on the train, it crashed.
The investigation is now underway into what caused the trains to collide.
When you have 2 trains collide, thankfully we're not good at investigating train accidents. So it's going to take us a little while to investigate them, to really determine what happened, how fast they were going, and to determine the cause. So it's going to take quite some time.
We do have officers that traveled over to the hospital to get the condition on the aideds, so we're going to go from there.
Witnesses say the northbound train derailed first. Then they felt the impact of the southbound train. Investigators will not elaborate on what they think until the investigation is complete. For now, rail travel to and from New York City is cut until further notice.
The tracks are destroyed. 2 tracks are destroyed. 2 trains are destroyed, seriously damaged, and we have multiple injured.
At this point, Governor Malloy says between Bridgeport and South Norwalk, travel between those 2 train stations will not be going through because of this train derailment and collision. They have to do the investigation, and because those tracks are so badly damaged, they have to first do the investigation, get those trains off the tracks, and then fix the track before regular rail travel can start to continue. Keep in mind, these 2 trains were two new commuter trains, and so all of that is kind of factoring into exactly what went wrong, and all of that will be part of the investigation. I actually spoke with the MTA captain, Jim McKenna, tonight, and he said detectives went in to the hospital to try and interview one of the engineers on board, but at this point he was just in so much shock. For now, we are live in Bridgeport tonight. Stephanie Simone, News 8.
Stephanie, thanks. Tonight, the passengers who were on that train have an amazing and frightening story to tell.
News 8's Jackie Slater talked with some of the passengers who were on those trains, and she joins us live with their stories tonight. Jackie.
37 injured people taken to St. Vincent's Hospital, another 22 taken to Bridgeport Hospital, and we're told that 5 of those injured suffered serious injuries. The response was quick. Emergency personnel and first responders jumping into action to get those passengers off of the trains safely.
All of a sudden we just hear boom, and then we saw like smoke everywhere, and I was just focusing on my 2 kids, just hugging them and embracing them.
We hit something and the train rolled sideways and some smoke came up. Actually, it was dust.
2 trains traveling during peak operating hours. That's a lot of passengers trying to get where they need to go on what should have been a peaceful start to their weekend. Instead, they have disturbing memories that will be hard to erase.
The little bit I seen, people flew over places. I almost flew over the seat. But I held on, but I'm okay. The other people just hurt, though.
Passengers towards the front of one of the trains said they quickly jumped into action.
We all went to the front of the train and kicked out some windows and got off the train,
So was it a group effort to get out of the train safely?
Definitely.
Firefighters and police rushed to the scene. Some passengers said it was more than 20 minutes before they were able to get off of the disabled trains. But those that were able to walk away say they're counting their blessings.
I saw people that was like crying, some was really hurt bad. And I spoke to some of them, they were really shaken up, and some of them just was like, thank God we're okay. And that's basically, you know, God is watching over us, and I'm so happy for that.
Fortunately, those people all made it off of the train safely. They were able to call relatives, but many of them had to wait around for hours to get picked up. I can tell you that I did ask every single one of them, will you take the train again? And they all said yes. For now, live in Bridgeport, Jackie Slater, News 8.
Jackie, thanks. Tonight, some of those injured are being treated at area hospitals.
News 8's Bob Wilson live at St. Vincent's Hospital with that part of the story. Bob?
Yeah, earlier in the day, the ambulance bays were just packed with ambulances. Now one lone police car sitting in the bay. And that's how people are coming into the hospital by private cars, because they say that the updated numbers here are 43 or 44 here at St. Vincent's, another 26 at Bridgeport, for a total of almost 70, right around 70 people injured, and they've been coming right into the hospital here. And as they've been coming in, 12 have been released here so far. We've been catching up with a couple of them, hearing their story of the baby that was sitting right next to the seat when the train hit. It went flying over the seat, ricocheted off the window, and the side panel landed in the middle. People being thrown from their seats. And we caught up with some of the passengers as they're being released to hear their stories and their injuries.
A lot of people screamed. It was like a bang, like a bang, you know, a loud bang, and then you saw smoke. And you can smell electrical. So that's how I knew. Because I deal with computers and stuff like that, so I could smell the electrical like a fire, and I was like, I knew we hit something.
And then you knew you had to get off the train?
Yeah, basically, but we couldn't get off. We didn't know what was going on, and over the PA, over the system, you could hear everybody saying, just relax, be calm, and then the conductors ran through. Then I heard, basically, was there a doctor on board or something like that? Yeah. When I heard that, I knew. And I could see the people, because I was stuck on the bridge part, and you could look out the window, and you could see people crying and stuff, and it's just a traumatic experience.
Now, all night long, we've been getting updates from hospital personnel, trying to figure out exactly how many people were brought here. At first, it was a dozen, then it was 2 dozen. The numbers hit as high as 25, 26, 27 injured. They say the injuries range from anything you'd see in a car accident to a serious car accident, to somebody even had a head wound, a serious head and neck wound. They said that's almost critical right now. They're monitoring that person right now as they speak, but the ambulances continue to come and go from the ambulance bay doors. Meanwhile, a fortunate thing, they had a shift change going on, so they had a lot of doctors and nurses here ready to help. When you hear 2 trains collide,
scary. That was a scary, all of a sudden you start to mobilize though, right? Because you need to make sure that you're ready for patients and families. And so we got our team ready.
And as people got off the train into ambulances and taken to the hospital, communication broke down. Families looking for one another, people trying to get home. It was a whole lot of chaos and panic amongst family members.
It was just devastating, you know, just trying to get home. That's why I live in Staten Island.
My daughter was on the train. I haven't heard from her. You know, my husband isn't home yet. I'm not sure what happened. So, you know, we can at least give people peace of mind, the people that are here. And so, again, you know, it's just a matter of time. And it's important for people to have good communication plans.
Now, just a few minutes ago, the governor was touring inside the hospital. He came out to give us kind of an update on the mood in there. I asked him, how are the doctors and the patients holding up after all of this?
I think they're pretty proud of themselves. I think they responded quite admirably. They marshaled resources. Doctors flooded in. The people that they needed flooded in. You know, there's a reason we drill these things.
Now, the governor also said something interesting when I was asking him about the site. He did walk the site. He said it was already down to 2 lanes in that area because they've been working on the overhead electric lines, and they were working on those electric lines, so there was work being done in the area. Whether that factors in or not, it will all be started tomorrow morning at dawn when the investigators can get out there and start taking a look at it piece by piece. I'm Bob Wilson reporting live in Bridgeport, News 8.
All right, Bob, thank you. And stay with News 8. We'll have continuing coverage on this crash.